So my best friend right here just turned 18 this year. So I'm going to be asking him the 18 lessons that he have learned over the past 18 years. So Arvin, what is it?
So one of the first lessons I learned was not to trust people easily who we meet for the first time.
Mm.
When I was young, I used to like yap a lot to people. When I was in primary, I think primary two, primary three. Yeah, I used to yap a lot to people. So like when I think, because I talked to some classmates who don't know,
Okay.
obviously. I'll yap about them, what's happening in my family, personal stuff. But turns out they don't give a damn about it, you know. So like the truth is, no one's give a shit about it.
So that's two lessons in
And
one.
yeah, so another one is when I'm in like in a group of friends, you know, and they're like talking with one another. I learn to be like very quiet and not say a word. It's good best to observe because if they like, there's a saying that's it's okay to be the dumbest person in the group.
True,
You know, I used to like try to talk to them because I feel like I want to talk in one of the group. So sometimes I'm not realizing if that's really who I am, and I'll get to that later.
Okay.
And another thing is I learned to respect girls, like not to disrespect them.
Yes.
Because when I was like very young, I used to because when girls disrespect me, like when I was in primary six, sec one, around there.
Okay.
They just, I don't know why, for whatever reason, they just love to disrespect, they just try to talk shit. And I'll just try to stoop to their level. But I'm not realizing, because I personally think, I thought that I think girls and men should be equal, you know, because if girls disrespect to men, then, you know, it's only right we disrespect them men. So like, I wasn't thinking straight like that.
100%.
I learned to like not stoop to their level. You know, when they're like scolding you, just think in your mind like, just, you know, idiot or whatever, you know, in your mind.
100%.
And just let them do their thing, because at the end of the day, they're wasting their energy. So who are we? You know, we're just going to be the sitting. You done? Can I leave? You know, that's all.
100%. 100%.
Then the next one I learned was learn to like put a boundary. It's something to me what trusting people, but I learned to like put a boundary between me and others. Not like share fully.
Yes, I think that's true.
You know, like certain boundary, like if it's in class, keep it in class. If it's in school, if it's school, then it's in school lah.
Correct.
And like not try to like bond with them more outside lah. You know, because you may never know the type of person they are. Lor.
Yeah.
Because if they really want to like be with, like hang out with you, right, they will like ask you. Lor.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah. So I learned, you know what, in friends I just talk like friends in school, talking friends in school lah. That's the same I thought with for you.
100%.
At first I was like, so yeah, as I was saying, yeah. So I thought it's best to keep it like within limit. Then turns out we were more than just schoolmates. We became bros. Then another thing is let people handle their own problems. You know, even though they be like yapping about, oh, I have this, I have that. Oh, you know, my mom is this. I'm just sorry about this. Then it's best. Again, it's good to listen, but it's not to try to make their problem your problem.
Yes.
Because they have to handle their own shit.
Yes.
All you can do is just say, oh, everything's going to be alright. Again, who am I to be in your position? I understand from your position, blah, 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 and just say such things. Just say, everything will be alright, you know, just say, I'm sorry this happened to you or anything.
Basically show sympathy and empathy.
Yeah, so you don't try to make their problem your problem.
Agree.
And another thing is, again, this is like very key. Like, you know, when a lot of people talk about success, they think like, oh, work hard, work very hard, like, wake up in the morning, get up, go. You know, those are all good things. But during these processes, you are going to fail at some point, you know. But so it's best to like learn from those mistakes.
So learn from failure.
Like let's keep it like this way. So when, let's say, when grade gets bad, it turns into wine. So like wine is more expensive than grape. So that means like if you're making mistakes, it's not a bad thing. It's just you learn from it, because your mistakes is something that makes you more better.
100%. 100%.
Then another thing I learned is to prioritize building myself over trying to go after a relationship. Because in college, like when we are like very a bit of a gangster, not a gangster, but we have a bit of swag and all that. Girls seem to like those shit. They go, oh wow, can we go on a date, blah blah blah. They would be like, no, they would be our girlfriend, but only in life. If we have our own foundation, we build ourselves, then they will be willing to live with us as a lifetime. Because if we don't have the right foundation, they won't be willing to be living with us. They won't be willing to live with us.
100%.
They would be with us in school, college, those kinds of days. But only if we build ourselves and we have like a proper foundation, only then they will be willing to see us more than a boyfriend,
100%.
or girlfriend.
100%.
Whichever people are listening to this video,
Yes.
if you're a girl or a boy, I think this is very important that you should know.
Yes.
And another thing I learned is I learned to like value the right. I need to learn to value the right people, not value everyone. Yes, even though everyone may seem to be talking nice and all, but my uncle used to say this: the person who smiles is not a good person, but the person who shows a very dull face are not a bad person. It's depending on the situation. So when I thought about it, yeah, that does kind of make sense. And another thing I learned, another one of the 18 lessons I learned was, there's just, again, this is like related to what I just said, building ourselves. And also learn that there's more to life than this world. You can just have your own peace. You don't need to have room. You don't have to go through all the problems. And again, I don't want to say I'm hating on relationships, but I'm just saying find the right one for you. Find the right people with true understanding for you.
Yes.
Because those kinds of people will help you build yourself. And it doesn't have to be them, but you also have to find the people who you can look up to. Relationship is not about like that thing and all. It's about looking up to someone who you really find inspiring. It doesn't have to be a celebrity, but in general, in real life as well, because there are people who you may see that can inspire you. Number 10, I learned to just not give a shit about what people are talking. They're like talking about this breakup, relationship and all, because it's not our thing. Because usually I'm thinking, why are they talking about this? Because again, it's more of their problem. Because I used to get into this conversation, but now I'm thinking, why should I really get into it? Because for me, it's just simple. A cheater is a cheater. I would just leave her. Simple, no explanation. A cheater, to the streets you came, the streets you go. That's my philosophy. No, whatever you say, there's nothing that can fix it.
Be my guess.
Yeah, because your demeanor say it all. So the 11th thing I learned is, no matter what are the type of people are around me, no matter what kind of people are around me, I should not let that change who I am. There could be such people who are like, very talkative, who are very extrovert, or maybe there's some people who are introvert, or maybe both ambivert. That should not let you change who you are. You're an ambivert, be an ambivert. If you're introvert, you'll be an introvert. If you're an extrovert, be an extrovert. But don't let it change who you are. Be yourself. It's fine. That's what I think personally. I'm a bit of an ambivert. I sometimes feel
Introvert and extrovert.
yeah, it's the
mixture.
same. Yeah, it's a mixture. Depends because it might be, of course. Then the 12th thing I learned is to learn during these 18 years or I would be doing. These are the things this is something that I would be doing and I have been doing, is to lock my inner child. Because look at this, right? The senior citizens of Singapore. I know at least most, or at least almost all of them, would be willing to take. We could have lived this younger life like this life. We could have lived like that life, So I feel during every year or every day or every week of your life, it's best, at least during those days, try to unlock your inner child. It's because you don't want it to be later regretting, damn, I could have done this, I could have done that.
Mm.
In your future, when you become, a grandparent,
Oh. Okay.
So I think it's for most teenagers, it's okay to unlock your inner child. That's nothing have to. It's okay. If it makes you immature, it's fine. At least I'm not trying to say be mature, but it's you try to be mature now. But maybe at sometimes, maybe like after you finish your work or your homework or any of those things, maybe just try to do something. I personally play games. Obviously, that's what I like to do when I was a child. I don't know about for you guys because I'm not like I don't act, I know everything. I just want to leave it to you guys. I'm just saying, learn to love inner child, however way you want. I'm, I'm not judging. And the 13th thing I've learned is, if you don't like the attitude of someone, it's okay to yap about them to the person who know you very well. Even though you may not like them, but it's best to say to their face straight, I don't like this, then maybe you can yap about it to the person. Because if you can say what you think, like right straight at their face, then you're being real. It's okay if they like it or not, but at least if you're being real and if you're being honest with them, that's all. And you can just yap about it to the other person. But also, again, if it's someone you know very well, don't blindly trust people. And I mentioned this in the first rule before. So, again, if you don't like someone, again, say it straight to their face, not in a rude way, but just say, hey, I don't like certain stuff. If they're not willing to change, just leave it. Just leave it with it. You're not their parents. We are not their parents to change them. It's their fate. Who's gonna change? And the 14th thing that I've learned is, if you're in a place where no one gives value, like no one respects, it's better to not be in that place. If no one
100%.
respecting you,
100%.
then just get out of the place. No one's forcing you. Get out of the place. If they ask you, don't let them ask anything. Just get
Leave
out
in
of
silence.
Leave in silence. Because one day they are gonna regret of not giving respect to you. One day in their life.
100%.
One day. Because I was disrespected most of the times in my life. But it's something that I'm not willing to go into depth, but I've learned it the hard way. So the 15th thing I learned is, if someone betrays you, even if your closest friend or anyone, just don't forgive them. I personally would forgive an enemy, but I wouldn't forgive a betrayer. I wouldn't forgive a betrayer. It's gonna take years for them to make me forgive them. I know people will say, or at least philosophically, some people say it's okay, just forgive them and move on. But there are some people who you shouldn't really forgive, betrayers. I don't know what kind of betrayers, but I'm just saying in general. Just don't forgive betrayers, whether it's your family or your siblings or your closest friend in high school or college or etc. Just don't forgive them. Do not forgive them. Because if they're gonna learn or not, don't give a shit about it. Because if they genuinely mean it, they'll try to make it up for you by showing with their action. Because if they just say sorry, it's not gonna fix anything. The 16th lesson is this is something that I had when I was somewhat like you. How you work. It's which I'm not gonna talk about.
In a situation shit, alright?
Yeah, I was in not. Let's just say I decided to accept it and move on. I learned to accept it and move on. Because again, there's a saying that you just have to accept it and go on. If people reject you, accept it. Said by Denzel Washington. He said, if you're rejected, accept it. Because he said, I'm still here. I lost a lot of people who meant the world to me, and yet I'm still here. So if you lose someone, whether they died or they just left you, in either ways, just accept it and move on. Because they're not going to take care of your life. You are taking care of your life. So at the end of the day, learn to value yourself. Learn to, accept it and move on. Because there's a better person than them, the one that you're looking in the mirror. And the 17th thing that I learned is learn to appreciate like little things I have. You know, not to be like so greedy or like higher thing, but need to understand the value of money. How is it earned? Because in the real world, I know you're. I don't know. I don't know if there are more of you guys who are spoiled, but if you're spoiled, I think this is for you. Learn to value the little things you have, because the things you're having now are the things someone else is wishing for. So learn to value it. Learn to be
100%.
grateful for it.
100%.
Learn to be great. Don't be very greedy about it. Because the more you're grateful, the more life will go in your way. And the last thing I learned was, well, the last, which is the 18th thing that I've learned in my entire life, is learn to grow up with it. Not be still like a baby. Learn to
Take
take
responsibility.
responsibility. Yeah, to take responsibility of my own actions. If I'm in the wrong, I'm in the wrong. I learn to like stop blaming other people. You know,
100%.
because whatever the mistakes you do, whether someone is maybe may have caused it or anything, it's usually started by us. But we may not know it. We would just easily say, oh, that person shouldn't have said this, or she should have said that, blah blah blah. But I think the problem is it's you. Maybe you shouldn't have done certain things because which led to this. So if any mistakes you did, you have to take responsibility for it. I personally feel it's best not to blame others because it's a waste of your time. Because even if others blame you, don't argue back. It's not even worth your time. Just accept it and try to fix it. Simple as that.
Alright, thank you, Arvin, for your 18 lessons.
Thank you. Pleasure doing business.
Yes. Alright, guys, so I hope you find it valuable from a random dude on the internet, and let us know if you find it any more valuable. See you in the next video.